When I founded Forge Wealth Management, I created a firm that aims to put our clients' interests first. Our clients are our priority. We create customized financial plans tailored to your needs and deliver them in a clear and concise manner. We are committed to our relationship with you and want to be part of your life journey. Welcome to Forge Wealth Management. We look forward to meeting you.
And with that, welcome to Shadow Her Podcast. My name is Marcia O'Connor. I'm going to be your host for today. And as you know, shadowher.org is in its second year, and it is a nonprofit organization that helps out women entrepreneurs with their operations. It's a 6-month, basically, course that you go through. You get attached a mentor, mentee, and the best thing about it is it's actually free to join. And we actually have sponsors that take care of the fee that goes along with it. But so excited to have everybody here. And we like to talk about really successful women entrepreneurs. How'd you get there? What was your struggle? What did you learn? And then what would you have done differently? So with that, we have an amazing guest today, Sunny White. She's with Xavier Creative House, a dear friend of mine. Welcome to the show.
Thanks, Marcia. So excited to be here to talk with you today on my two favorite topics, entrepreneurship and supporting women in business. So thanks for having me.
My pleasure. And you have had a rock star of a business, and you've been doing it for how long now?
10 years.
Woo! Happy anniversary.
X, hence the X behind me.
That is so awesome. And talk to me more about what Xavier Creative House does.
Yes. So Xavier Creative House is a healthcare marketing agency. We specialize in pharmaceutical, biotech, and med device.
Woo! That's it. That's it. Yeah. But you have really jumped the leap and you've grown exponentially. Explain to me why you have done that.
Yeah. So I think the growth has been very strategic, very planned. But as entrepreneurs, right, you set your vision and then you're interested in going after that. I think for me, it was always this passion of wanting to create a business that people love to work for and work with. So when you've got this passion that drives you, everything else kind of comes together, you know. And for me, I'm a a visionary CEO. So culture is very important to me. You know, and you learn things along the way from other business leaders, and then you certainly want to make it your own. But when you have something that you're so passionate about in an industry that you're passionate about, it's not work, right? And so the growth really comes organically, and the ride is fun.
Oh, it is. Now, 10 years, how many employees do you have now?
We are 22 in-house. And then we have a talent intelligence network. So in the agency world, you need lots of talent and different types of talent for different projects. So we recently just trademarked the Talent Intelligence Network, which helps us scale up and down as needed. So that pool of experts is over 1,500.
Wow.
So on any given day, I'd say the agency is really around 40 to 50. And our vision is to get to around 75.
Wow. Good for you. Now let's go back to that word you just mentioned, visionary CEO.
Yeah.
What does that mean? Because a lot of people out there are like, I just want to be a CEO. I want to move things forward. What's the difference about a visionary and non-visionary?
Yeah, it's a great question. So 3 types of CEOs, right? You've got the visionary CEO, you've got a process CEO,
Yep.
and you've got your finance CEO. You know, for me, you know, when you really think about your strengths as a person, I've always been very futuristic.
Right.
In the way in which I think, you know, it just really comes naturally, natural ideas. So it's funny because any given day, the amount of ideas that flood this brain is like, stop it. You know, I've got to stay focused. But I think also just really focused on where we're going, the growth, loving and being passionate about innovation and really achieving those strategic goals that you set forth, and evolving and adapting and
Yep.
being able to do that quite easily. But surrounding yourself with the experts in the other categories, Marcia. So, process, those that are in my business next to me are process engineers, right? And so they're always offsetting my ideas of, let's do this and here we go. And they bring me back like, let's talk about today. We need to bring you back and, let's make sure this process makes sense. And then obviously surrounding myself with great financial experts really make that all worthwhile. But I think when you're trying to figure out the leader who you are and kind of what category you fit in, it really comes down to your strengths.
Yeah.
And being able to really look at that and then hone in on where you can add the most value for the business, and really lean into that.
Yeah, I agree with that. But you're 22 people, then like, who on your team is like your yang that does a lot of that operations and process work? Because usually a visionary does not like doing that kind of work at all. So who
Right.
do you have on your team to do that? Like, what's their title?
Yeah. So my leadership team consists of director of client service,
Hmm.
VP of creative service, and then director of HR and sustainability. So in terms of operational, for us in the business, we each kind of own about 25% of kind
Nice.
of that operational, efficiency.
Yep.
But they're way more operationally focused in bringing that vision to
Hmm.
life and ensuring that we're process driven and data driven, and they're excellent at that.
How did you come up with that? Like that takes time. It doesn't happen overnight. You have to really place out an accountability chart and figure out who goes in who, right? So tell me how you did that.
Absolutely. So kudos to you, because I think it was, a few years back, I had come to you and said, Marcia, I've heard about this EOS, and can you tell me more about that and what that looks like? And so you were able to recommend me to, our implementer, for EOS that we work very closely with. And it's been such a game changer. So EOS stands for Entrepreneur's Operating System. And, as an entrepreneur, that system works so well for
Yep.
us because it
Hmm.
really embodies who we are and the way in which we operate.
Right.
But it also gives us that systematic approach to be able to
Yes.
scale and grow effectively, and ensure that, the goals we're setting, the processes are in place, the right people in the right seats, and all of that good stuff that comes with, preparing for the scale and continuing for that next level.
Yeah, and it's not easy. You had to pull it apart to put it back together half the time. But as you guys know out there, my listeners, I talk a lot about EO. I talk a lot about EOS, and you're going to have us down yet. But EOS is definitely the entrepreneur operating system. A guy by the name of Gino Wickman started it, and it's a wonderful template of how to run your company. And if you're really serious of really scaling and getting out there, you gotta trust the process, but get a coach. Do not do the pound foolish. Why a lot of people read the book and never get a coach. And I'm always like, bad, 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 bad. You want to definitely have a coach. But how long have you been working with those guys now?
We are about 2.5 years in at this point. One of the best decisions we ever made.
Good. Yay.
Right? Especially for a visionary CEO, you need that level of accountability. And I think what also I love about it is
Hmm.
that sometimes as CEOs, we go off and we do these things to help grow the business, but
Yes.
you're doing it by yourself.
Yep.
And so you get so excited and you bring all these great ideas back, and people are looking at you like, what are you talking about? Like, I am not tracking
Yep.
at all because I wasn't in the same room with you when you
Yep.
were learning all these great things or getting inspired by, other wonderful leaders. And so, EOS puts you in the room with your leadership team and you're on that journey together. And then you're bringing it back to the business, and you're sharing it. And there's that two-way communication up and down the organization, which
Yep.
makes sure everyone's aligned, right?
Yep.
And communicating effectively.
It's huge. It's really huge. And then once you start having that and everything's gelling, so everybody knows basically your purpose, your core values, your mission, what you're selling, how much you're selling it for, what you're going after, what's your markets, it's like magic. And then everybody starts really just humming along and then things happen. And when you're all talking the same language, the money comes in out of nowhere sometimes, right?
Yeah, it's
Yeah.
wonderful once you get that magic going, for sure. It just feels good.
Oh, yeah. So let's go back a little bit. Been around 10 years. When did you hire your first employee? What year was that? What time frame?
So I founded the business in 2013. And then I'd say our first employee was probably the following year.
Okay.
Did have a partner in the beginning. Um, and yeah, and then, I think really when you're thinking about starting the business, and to your point with the first hire, it's understanding your strengths and then understanding where your gaps are, right? That's like the biggest thing
Yes.
of, hey, this is where I get so jazzed up and excited, but
Yep.
here's where I'm not as thrilled. And so, when you're thinking of those hires, what is that hire and who is that yin to your yang that's going to help pick up some of those pieces and keep things going so that you can all add your greatest value to the
Yep.
business and the organization.
Oh, absolutely. I think the hardest thing is too, like, can I afford this
Mhm.
person? That's a full-time job and it's basically I'm putting food on their table now. And
Mhm.
that is a big decision, but once you make it and you leap and you do it, it's actually easier to hire your second person by far.
Mhm.
And then you hire another person, but you have to always make sure you can afford them. So you got to make sure you have a really good finance team and you know your numbers. I'm always a big stickler about your numbers, as everybody already knows out there, but knowing your numbers, even on a daily basis, is really helpful. And I can click a button and I know exactly how much cash flow I have. I know how much is in the bank. I know basically my AR, my AP. I know exactly where I need to be. I know how much my revenue is this year. And so it's easy to have those fingertips. A lot of people are so afraid of numbers. And I think that's a downfall of their success moving forward. So do not be afraid of it. You got to go head first and challenge yourself on that for sure. So we're going to talk about really your journey and what's next for Xavier Creative House. We're going to take a quick break and we'll be right back. And audience, stay tuned for an amazing journey. We'll be right back.
Ready to redefine your talent strategy? Let's make Redefine the word of the year for your success. Introducing RAS, Recruitment as a Service. Outsource your talent strategy with the O'Connor Group. Our 4-tiered approach is crafted to align with your business, whether you're launching a startup or leading a thriving corporation. Our cost-effective solutions are designed to elevate your business and enhance your people strategy, ensuring scalability and strategic growth. Redefine your recruitment strategy with RAS.
Awesome. Welcome back, everybody. Welcome back. It's Marcia O'Connor here. I am your Shadow Her podcast host, and I'm here with obviously Sunny White, who is the CEO and founder of Xavier Creative House, just celebrating her 10-year anniversary and talking about what she does and how she does it. But you're on this journey. You have been winning awards. You're definitely moving higher and higher, getting out there. What's next? What's the goal? Because obviously in the US, you have to produce your 10-year goal. What's that goal in the next 10 years?
Yeah, so we are striving to be the best small boutique agency in healthcare marketing. And for us, it's you talked about growth, you talked about scale. We've got our 10-year BHAG goal set in stone. And I think really over the next 3 to 5 years, I'll be moving more into the visionary role for the agency, like really stepping into that wholeheartedly. And so,
Mm-hmm.
at this point, we have set the foundation for the agency. We've got amazing clients. We've got great core values, and we're ready to go. And so, it's really about building an agency that we're proud of, and building an agency that really is making a true impact in healthcare marketing today. And I know that growth, I say there will be something about, maybe growing to about 75 in-house employees. That number, I said, I don't know the exact number, but I'll know when we get there. And in the process, keeping our culture intact and is really, really important to me. We have a strong focus on service and really making a difference in healthcare. And so continuing on that journey is wonderful. I think what makes what we do every day so magical is being at the intersection of marketing and healthcare, two industries that are just moving at the speed of light. It's just so rewarding, and I just love everything about it. So we're excited about the next step and the next few years ahead.
Yeah, you should be. So, you know what? It's hard being a CEO, especially being a female CEO. I have to admit that. How do you keep yourself so motivated and engaged? You're a mom of two. You have a lot going on. How do you put your tribe together?
Yeah, it's a great question. I think you need to stay true to who you are. So health and wellness is a huge piece of that, right? It's really making sure you're taking care of yourself. I had a health scare last year, and it really shakes you up to bring you back to your core to say, hey, how do I get back and really make sure I'm doing all the right things, and you go back to your roots. So I
Mhm.
always think about when I was a child, I required a lot of sleep, 8 hours,
Wow.
and then you get to be a busy mom and not
Yep.
more, and you're like, no, I'm not gonna worry about that. So really coming back and taking care of yourself and making sure you're exercising and eating well and drinking a lot of water and getting a lot of sleep. It really is going back to basics. But I
Mhm.
think in terms of balancing, what's been really rewarding, I have two sons, and so I'm a hockey mom, boy mom, and so their life is really busy.
Sure.
And so I've created what I call moments that matter, right?
Nice.
So as women, we want to we want to do it all, right? And so you have to be realistic in terms of how you're going to balance that schedule. And so for me, it's moments that matter. And so, if they have a big game or, they're doing something that really matters to them, then I'm going to be there as the mom because I want them to look up and say, there she is, she's
Yep.
here. This is a moment that matters because thinking back when you're a kid, right? Those are things that are really important. And we are their first role models and showing them, the path there. So, but then, also just from a tactical perspective, I say, again, super easy, just make your life, I've got Amazon Prime on lockdown. I've got everything showing up when I need it. But just taking the time to set up your life and be organized in a way that allows you and gives you the most time to
Yep.
do those things that bring you the most joy. Um, so that would be some of my advice there.
Oh, I love that. I think my word this year was intentional.
Yeah.
And it's really funny talking to a lot of CEOs. I was like, what's your word this year? They're like, intentional. I'm like, that's my word. And I think you get to a point where you're just like, do I need to be at everything? Or let's be more intentional. Like, what is the ones that's really going to really help me versus helping somebody else? I mean, I'm always helping somebody else, but I think you got to come to a point where did you really have to go to that? And so we made a pact now with my team this year that for evening events that everybody is only required, it's 2 events or less a week because we were going to way more than that. It was killing my people. And so I said, what for? Like, people, do you really remember this person being at this event last year in November? Probably not. And so like, let's be intentional and really take care of your team to make sure that life still goes on, but
Yeah.
family first, for sure.
100%.
Pretty crazy stuff. So how do you mentioned about culture. You mentioned about trying to keep your culture within your team and getting moving. What are some of the things you're doing right now to keep that culture tight?
Yeah. So, the first and foremost thing is we put our core values at the heart of the business, right? So we've got these core values. We've got 5 of them. We've got respect and candor, which is our communication pillar.
Mm-hmm.
We've got bold and evocative. So that's our signature style. It's how we show up. And people always say, is that your creative signature style? I'm like, no, that's our signature style, right?
Nice.
Even on the client side
Love
of
it.
it's showing up and being prepared and asking good questions and being present.
Yep.
Service centric. So, being in service of others and being in
Yep.
service of our clients and our team and our partners.
Mm-hmm.
Empowered mindset. So this notion of continuing to learn.
Love it.
We have to. We're in marketing and we're in healthcare to
Yep.
industries moving pretty quickly. And then the last is harness the magic. And it's really that positivity and that synergistic way of showing up. I like to say, you've got friends, right, that bring out the best in you, that you show up and you love being around them because they're magnetic and they've got this vibe about them. They can light up a room and you're like attracted to that.
Yep.
And so that's what we try to be for the clients because, and our partners and our team, right? We want to be magical. And I think when you have core values you believe in, you put it at the heart of the company, it's really how, we hire and fire on core values. We live our core values, our performance reviews, our one-on-ones, everything is around the core values. And that, when you've got those right, really make a magical culture. And we're more intentional. I mean, we're virtual. We've always been virtual. So I think for us, everything is even more heightened in terms of over communicate, right?
Yep.
Like we live on Zoom. Zoom is our corporate headquarters, and making sure that we're being really purposeful in all of the ways in which we communicate with each other. And I think really when we truly do live into those core values, it really makes our culture special.
Oh, yeah. I agree with that. But I think you should hire and fire according to those core values. And every day should be about those core values. And with my team, we came up with this mascot idea called CC because it's collaboration, curiosity, execution, and integrity. So we came up with CC. And it's a little mascot's purple squirrel that Ash, my marketing manager, found on Etsy that's crocheted. And it's so funny in recruiting world, it's a purple squirrel is a really hard position to find. Yeah. And so this purple squirrel goes on everybody's vacations. And so they literally are like, I need CC to go with me to like the Bahamas. And I'm laughing because we actually have our own SharePoint page for all the CC travels. The greatest thing about it is everybody in this company knows what those four core values are.
Yep.
Because of CC. Isn't that funny? So
I love it. Yeah, we have something similar. Like when we travel, you do the X pose, right? So like the power pose, but it's an X. So, if you're on the top of a mountain, you take that X picture, and we now say X marks the spot. So
love it.
In our social, you'll get to see,
nice.
traveling around the world because it's so important. I mean, that in and of itself,
yes. And it works. It works great. It works so well. And I tell people all the time, like, it really does work really nicely. So by all means, keep on doing it. So if I had to ask you, what are you reading right now? What are you reading?
Good question. Beartown. It's a hockey book. Yeah, it's wild. It's a page turner. But my hockey moms have shared that. We went through kind of our reading book.
Wow.
And we also have a book club. So we're in between books. We just wrapped up our last book, and I'm so bad with names and titles. So, but we're starting our next one, and it's fun because everyone in the company gets to vote. So,
nice.
So you put up 3 books, and they take a survey, and whichever one floats the top is that next book. But it's fun to just, talk. I love reading. It's a great way to unwind at night. I usually read a chapter because it forces my mind to wind down and get ready for sleep. So definitely important part of being a reader.
Yeah, I'm trying to do that more now, going to bed and trying to read. I gotta be honest with you. I think I read 2 pages and I'm asleep. Yeah. That must mean I'm really tired as well, but I'm like, okay, I'm trying. And I try to push myself. I'm like, okay, just get 1 chapter done. And then it's a long chapter. And I'm like, this is not happening tonight. I can tell you that right now. I just fall asleep and I'm out cold.
Yep.
because my day is crazy too, but I get you. But reading's great. I think with entrepreneurs, we read so much stuff because I always feel like I want to be on top of everything, which is not easy for sure. What's that one word you would give to women entrepreneurs? They are obviously they're in that 100K to 400K, that one word to say, hey, don't forget, this is the word to use during that time period.
Focus.
Good, great word. Yep. Absolutely. Focus on what you do best. Absolutely. I think too many people try to be too many things to too many people. And what happens? They never understand who they are when they grow up. Yeah. And a lot of time and money basically being spent that way, unfortunately. So it's true.
100 to 400 black hole, right? So you got to be laser focused to get over that hump and out to the other side when things become a little bit more efficient and easier to manage.
In regards to like helping out, what do you do to take care of you?
So when you talk about culture, we put health and wellness into our culture because I love it so much. I think as leaders, if you're not healthy in mind, body, spirit, then you're not showing up and being the best version of yourself. So we actually have a director of wellness.
Oh, great.
And she does right now 15-minute pop-ups throughout the day.
Nice.
We used to have an hour and then we had 45 minutes and 30 minutes and these 15-minute bursts, get people up. It's manageable. Obviously, in addition to those on a daily basis, there's challenges, right? And so if you want to engage in the 30-day challenge, then obviously there's your 45-minute workout that we do. But just, you have to do what's manageable for you. So I have a golden retriever. I love taking him for a walk, just getting up, walking around the block is 20 minutes. And then, so any sort of exercise, yoga, anything that makes you feel good. And then your mind, right? So what is it that you're doing to be mindful? I am a big positive affirmation gal. Like I have shower affirmations in the shower. I pick my cards on Sunday. I put them all over the shower. My husband must think completely nuts. But just, there's an app actually called I Am. And so I just downloaded that this week because with positive affirmations, you actually can put that on your phone. And so when you turn your phone on, there's your, rotates for different things that you want, which is great. I think friends are an important part of, social and spiritual engagement is really getting out and having fun and laughing and supporting other women because it just makes us who we are. And so I think it's just really focusing on that mind, body, spirit. But, what does that mean for you? And being true to it because it really does help you show up and be the best version of yourself. For me, sleep. I've learned, if I get good sleep, then, my next day is unstoppable. And so the Aura Ring has been a huge tool for me.
Nice.
And people say, oh, do you wear that? And like, aren't you so like competitive with yourself? Which I actually thought would happen.
Right.
But to be honest, if I don't get a good night's sleep, then I'm like, okay, so I have to try a little bit harder with my bedtime routine tomorrow. I'm actually like trying to solution solve my way through how to be more healthy. And that actually helps you focus on different parts of your life. So if it's, you need to get more sleep or you need to reduce your stress, you can actually set it to that level or to that, tag. And then it gives you those data points to be even more, happy and healthy. So.
Yeah, I think for us who love data, we love that kind of stuff. I think for other people that hate opening up the credit card envelope, probably not so much, because it's reality hitting you. And, here's a funny story. So, I find out the best of always weighing myself, and I'll be the first to admit it out there, ladies. When you hit the 50s, it's not as much fun anymore. And I had an itch in my ear, so I used a Q-tip. And I know, don't do that, blah blah blah. Well, lo and behold, that cotton of the Q-tip got stuck in the ear all the way down. And I said, I guess I got to go to like, one of those emergency places and, first alert, whatever, and get it taken out. So I get in there. I'm like, I just need to get cotton taken out. And they're like, well, you have to do all your vital signs. I'm like, I'm just getting cotton taken out of my ear. That's all I need. And they're like, nope, vital signs. I'm like, Ugh. And so, but it was great because it told you your weight, it told you your temperature, your blood pressure, everything else. I was like, I'm in pretty good shape. There was nothing wrong or whatever. And, but it also gave you a reality check of my weight. And I was like, you know what? Sometimes that was God's way of saying, you need to hear what that number is. You know what I mean? And sometimes you just don't want to hear it. So you put it off and put it off, especially when you have a business. You don't always take yourself first, and you should. I'm preaching this, but I have things in plan. Ever since that day, I changed everything, and pickleball is like number one thing in my life, and walking. But it's just, you have to have those come to Jesus meetings, and you really have to be, because if the oxygen mask isn't flowing for you, it's certainly not flowing for the rest of your team. So I think those pop-ups are pretty dynamic, what you're doing, which is pretty cool. Well, it's been already been a half an hour, which is amazing. Sunny Beth, thank you so much. How do people get a hold of you if they say, hey, I have a client or I have a company that does life sciences and needs healthcare and they needs marketing? How do we get a hold of you?
Yeah, absolutely. Very active. So Xavier Creative House, you can find on our website, Xavier Creative House, xaviercreative.com is that URL. And LinkedIn is my main social channel. So Sunny White, very active, very responsive on social media. So certainly follow us there. And I'd love to hear from you. Anything I can do to help you in healthcare marketing, feel free to reach out.
And I think, Sunny Beth, I love your LinkedIn page. It's very colorful. It shows your company really well. I wish a lot of people would look at it. So if you're an entrepreneur, take a look at Sunny Beth's LinkedIn profile. It is exactly what you really want to be. You want to have it very bright, airy, talk about your company. It's not just about you, but all the things that you're really good at. I think it's really helpful. We do that with ours as well. We have somebody on my team that does that for all of our people on our team. But you got to get out there. You got to brand yourself out there. It doesn't take a lot. The more branding you have, the bigger people think you are. And that's really important. But obviously talking to people, experts out there like Sunny will be able to help you. So don't, all these people out there, guys, we share this information all the time and only like 1% of you take us up on it. So by all means, reach out to Sunny, say that you heard her today on today's podcast, and she'll gladly help you out what you need. Okay. So, and with that, Sunny, thank you so much for being here. Congratulations on 10 years with Xavier Creative Health. And everybody out there, just, keep on plugging, keep on going. Don't give up. Don't forget to share out there about shadowher.org. I'm Marcia O'Connor. I'm your Shadow Her podcast host today. And don't forget, believe in you, because we do. All right, guys, take care.